Ruslan. So the other day I was scrolling through my YouTube comments section and somebody was like, yo, you should reach out to this artist named Pafu, give him a shout. You know, he's very unapologetic about his faith in Jesus. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do just that. And I went to his Instagram, I scrolled around, I was like, yo, this dude makes fire music. Like the aesthetic that I'm into is like, it's like the lo-fi boom bap production, but it's emo and modern and soulful. And in his bio just said in big capital letters, Jesus is king. I was like, okay, that's fresh. So I shot him a DM and he got back to me right away. Then I end up on his YouTube page. I checked out his new single. I checked out his vlog, and his vlog opens with him talking about getting up every morning and praying and starting his day right and being more productive. I'm like, man, this is super dope. And then after about, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes, he gets back to me, we're talking. And then my buddies was like, yo, that's the guy with the Deathbed song. And I'm like, the Deathbed song? I don't even, what song is that? Sure enough, I've heard the Deathbed song, find out the Deathbed song has 1 billion plus streams. And he's gracious enough to hop on here with us guys and do a live interview. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we got Pafu live from Canada. What's up, man?
Nothing much, bro. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me, bro.
Dude, thank you so much for being here. I'm very, very excited to be here with you. I got a lot of questions, but I really just kind of want to just get to know you more, man. I think you have a very unique story. Let's just start with the obvious, man. You are, you know, fairly, I guess, you know, big in this whole world with the record and the audience and all that, but you're so just out there about your faith, which is sometimes rare in the music industry, right? So just tell me a little bit about your faith journey, and then I want to just get more into your story as a whole. So how did you like come to faith in Jesus and all that?
Well, I grew up in a Christian home. I have 3 younger siblings and 2 parents, and we lived with, we were never like, we were kind of just living in like my grandparents' basement, and went to church every Sunday and stuff. And I didn't go to any like Christian school, or like I didn't really do any extracurricular stuff with it, you know? So I was like, I believed in God my whole life, but I didn't really take action in it too much. And yeah, so probably like I'd say these past couple of years, like even high school, I didn't really feel that close. Like I'd try and speak out about it, but I was really scared about it, you know? And these past couple of years is like when I started like reading the Bible more and like trying out different churches and all that stuff. And so, yeah,
was there like a moment or a season in your life, or did something happen where it was all of a sudden you went from being, you know, less of I guess like a casual believer who grew up Christian to like, hey, Jesus is king, all capitals in your bio. Like, how did that happen?
I know a lot of people say like that, like there's always a moment, you know, where it's like you decide to do it, but like for me, like I feel like it was pretty slow, to be honest. I feel like it's just like little by little, like I got stronger in faith, you know. And like about like 4 or 5 months ago, I've never read through actually there is one thing that helped a lot with my faith is I went to a Christian camp in British Columbia out here. And like I went to public school, right? So I didn't really have Christian friends. Like I had nobody around me who was like same faith and beliefs as me. And then when I went to that camp, like I met so many people that like viewed the world the same as me, you know? And that set a big fire in me, I'd say.
That's awesome. Like, and how long ago was that you attended that Christian camp?
I went 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is around the time you started really dabbling in music, right? You've been doing music since you were in high school-ish.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I started end of grade 12.
Okay.
Because I like found out about SoundCloud or whatever. And so I made Pafu. I just released music on a SoundCloud. Like after work when I got home, I'd just like try and record a song or something. And I was like real nervous of it, right? So I didn't tell anybody in high school. Like, and then it got big like pretty quick. I just kind of just fell in love with it, right? It was like super fun, like seeing the numbers and the feedback and stuff from people. And then and then after like a year after high school, is when it like started doing really good. And then I think that was when I wrote Deathbed. Deathbed is like a long story. Like it took a long time to get that song out and stuff. And yeah, then
So
that happened.
your dad is a musician too, right? Like he's in a band
Yeah.
and well traveled. And you said in your vlog that you actually stole that mic from from your dad, which is a classic
Yeah.
microphone. And so tell me a little bit about like his influence in you as a creative and as an artist.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, he was really big in Canada. He never broke out into like the rest of the world, but in Canada, he was on the radio all the time and like would tour and stuff. He was actually big in Asia as well. And then so like growing up, he'd go on tour for like a month and then come back home, you know, and like we had like a little jam room in our barn that he made. And so he'd have the band over, they'd always be jamming, writing songs together and stuff. And so like I would just hear that all the time and like I was kind of a part of it, I guess. And like writing songs was like always something I enjoyed as a kid, you know, like I always tried to write songs and stuff. And so, yeah, he taught me when I was 2, he taught me how to play the drums. And I would have to practice every day for like half an hour.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I hated them though, so I quit as soon as I could. I think I was like 7 or something. And then I started playing guitar a little
Yeah.
bit. And like I'm not really good at any instrument, but I know like the basics of each one, I guess.
Well, you started with a percussive instrument, which is the drums, and at that age, I mean, that's a great foundation. So it would make sense why your music sounded so good so early on, in terms of just you starting and you said, hey, out the gate, my stuff was doing fairly well in terms of just SoundCloud, which is super dope. But it makes sense when you come from a musical family. Your dad's a professional musician. He got you on the drums practicing. Like that's so. Shout out to your pops, man. That's incredible, man. That's really cool. My son is
helped a lot.
6,
I learned a
and I'm
lot.
trying
Oh,
to
yeah?
do that with him. Yeah, like he was in here earlier. You can't see, but I got like an MPD outside of the frame, and I'm like, yo, just you got to hear the click. You got to hear the click, and he can't hear the click, but he's learning piano. He's been in piano since he was about 4.5.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. So I think it's all about the setting the your next generation up to go further than you, and I think that's dope. How does your dad feel about just all the success now, and how involved is he?
He's actually my manager, so
Hey.
he's really involved with it. Yeah, I mean, my whole family, like, we just bought a new house. Like, we've been renting out like our whole life, so now we own a place, which is like a big blessing for us.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, we're all pretty happy about it.
That's so rad. So you start making music early on. It's pretty good. How calculated were you with the sound? Because you got such a fly sound in terms of just the lo-fi of wave. Obviously, there's a nostalgic feel to it in terms of the stuff I grew up on, the early '90s stuff. But it's modern, and it has this like really cool emotional flair that I think is unique to today's sound. How calculated was that? And was that all you, or was that you and your dad kind of thinking through some of this stuff, or you just kind of just straight vibing with it and this is what you were into?
Yeah. Well, like before Paufu, like I wrote like a few songs, and like my dad was kind of involved with it. I was like 14 or something when I made like my first one, and like they were just kind of weird, right? And then when I started Paufu, it was kind of just like me myself, like in my bedroom, just like recording what I wanted to, And so it was like all that was kind of all me. Like I actually started making music by making beats on like GarageBand. That's how I got into it. And then I got kind of bored of making beats, and like I was like recording vocals was like way more fun for me. So I started doing that, and then I'd find beats online, and then so when I started Paufu, it was like straight like rapping, because like I sucked at singing like growing up. Like my parents would tell me to like shut up because I was pretty bad. So I'd try rapping, and you can like, if you go through my SoundCloud, like you'll hear like I start adding singing parts to my music like over time, like little more. And and then somehow like I can sing now, which is, I thought like if you're born with a good voice and you can sing, if you don't have a good voice, like you'll never be able to. But I feel like my voice actually developed quite a bit, which is like super cool. And so now I feel like I sing more than I rap on my music. And growing up I listened to a lot of punk music, so like I get inspired by that quite a bit. and then hip hop was like what I listened to in like my teen years. So I kind of just like naturally mixed the both, you know. So I like my favorite songs to make are like singing hooks, you know, then like a rapping verse and like a singing verse or something, you know.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, and that is kind of what modern music is now, is the hybrid, right, of melody and percussive raps and that kind of thing. So that's super dope. You said that earlier when we were offline, you said that you worked like construction before, and you would work these days, and then you just come home and hop in the studio. Tell me what that was like in terms of just like that. I mean, that's some serious like manual labor, and then to go jump right into creative stuff. Was that pretty exhausting?
Yeah. I mean, what when I was so I started SoundCloud when I was in my last like the second half of grade 12. So I would be at school, then I'd get home and I'd make music and like not do my homework, which I probably should have done. Actually, not screw it. I mean,
I think it worked out for you, champ.
Yeah. Yeah. So I started with that, and then what was my first job after high school? I think it might have been, yeah, it was warehousing. So I started working at a warehouse, which was like an hour away from my place. And it was pretty intense. That was probably like, I was really stressed out. Like I hated that job. The boss and like everybody I worked with was just like, I didn't like it, right? And then I would work till like 6 or 5 or something. Then I'd drive an hour home. So I'd get home at like after dinner time or like just at dinner time. And then like making music was kind of like the fun time for me. You know, it was like a break. So like it didn't really feel like work, but not now it feels like work because like it is work, you know?
Yeah.
But back then it was like super fun. Like I was just like at work, I'd just be like thinking of like song ideas at work and stuff and like super hyped to go record it.
That's rad, man. Would you say that persistence early on with having to juggle a job, school, and music kind of sets you up in terms of just the work ethic and the grind? Because that's a lot of young folks don't have to work hard jobs, right? So there is no like, man, I got to think at school, then I got to physically work, and then I have to jump in and be creative. Do you think that kind of positioned you just in terms of your work ethic?
I mean, it probably did. I haven't really thought of that too much, but I know like now, if I don't make music a certain day, you know, like I'll feel like stressed out, like frick, I gotta make something, you know? And so I think that's good. But like, I don't know, lately I notice I get distracted really easily, but I feel like that's probably just a part of having like a creative, like an art for a job, you know? It's
Right.
kind of hard to stay focused all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, you're probably right. It probably definitely helped
Yeah.
get
Now,
into it.
you also said you were into some Christian hip hop stuff. So you know, I think you follow like Lecrae and Andy on Instagram, which is super rad. Tell me about just the influence that some of those guys had in you, just growing up as a Christian kid. Like that had to have been cool to see, just dudes kind of making dope art at a pretty fly level. What's your relationship been like with Christian hip hop?
I first heard it when I was probably like teenager, like around 15, I'd say. And Andy Mineo was like my favorite out of them all. And my dad actually took me to one of his concerts. I think it was in Seattle or something.
Wow.
Or maybe it was Vancouver, I forget. But yeah, so we went to that and like it was pretty hype and like it was really cool seeing that like there's hip hop artists and rappers that are like have a faith, you know, and talk about it like out loud and stuff. And so yeah, that was definitely like a big encouragement to me, like in terms of stating my beliefs and stuff and still being able to make like cool hip hop music.
That's so cool. Tell me about Deathbed. You said it was a very long process for the song to come out, and just talk to me about the process and why was it long? Was it because of the sample, or how did it all like come together that you said it was a long process?
Yeah, so I found the beat on SoundCloud. Yeah, basically like on SoundCloud, I started finding like this category called like Lo-Fi, right? And it was just like instrumental beats with like a cool melody behind it, like piano or guitar or something. And like I loved it so much. I'll just listen to the instrumental beats and just like jam to it in my car, right? And then I realized like nobody was like rapping to them. Like I didn't find one that like, yeah, I didn't know of anybody who's rapping or singing on it, right? So then that's kind of how I got into Lofi, I guess, is because like I was like, I'm gonna start writing lyrics to these. And then I found the deathbed beat, which I thought sounded really cool. And then my friend actually told me to write something to it. I was like, okay, I'll try. And so I wrote it like really quick, like it probably took me like a couple hours, and I was done the song. I was like, this is cool, right? I didn't really think anything special of it though. And then I released it on SoundCloud. And then there's this YouTube channel called Promoting Sounds that posted it. And like it did pretty good on there as well. And it did good. It was like one of my best songs, but like nothing crazy. And then about like 5 or 6 months later, it started picking up on YouTube again and SoundCloud. And I remember like looking at the views, and like on YouTube it would jump like 1 million views every day or something.
Sheesh. Off of your YouTube page or like a different YouTube page?
Yeah, I'm Promoting Sounds. I didn't even have it on my YouTube page.
Crazy.
And I don't know if it was 1 million every day. It might have been like 500,000 every day or something, right? I was like, what the heck? It was just like super random. And then I'll check it every day. And I ended up getting to like 12 million views or something. I was like, oh my goodness, like that's crazy. And then that's when I found out that it was on TikTok. Like I remember looking it up on TikTok, and it was blowing up on TikTok. Everybody was using it like in their videos. I was like, oh dang, like that's really cool. And then that this whole time though, it wasn't on Spotify or like the official streaming services, right? And so like I was trying to get it on there. I was trying to get a hold of, because it's sampling the Biba Doobie in it, right? So I was trying to get a hold of her and her management. And like I didn't have anybody working for me at this time. Like it was just me, right? And like nobody was replying or doing anything. And like every day I was just getting flooded with DMs saying like release Deathbed on Spotify, right? I was like, I can't do anything, right? I was like, I have this song blowing up. I can't get a hold of anybody. And it's like everybody's like begging me to release it. So I was like, I don't know what to do. So I was like, I guess I'll just release it on Spotify. Like, and I knew like I could get in trouble for it, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, whatever though, like all these people want it. So I think I posted like a story saying like, this might get taken down because like I don't have permission, but like you guys been asking for it, so I'll do it for you, I guess.
So you just went for it.
Yeah, so I just posted on it.
That's so hip hop of you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know how much trouble I'd get in. I was just like, whatever, like everybody wants it. And like, it's kind of frustrating that I can't post this. So I was like, whatever, I'll give it to them. And so I posted it. It stayed up for like, maybe like 6 months or something. It blew up like right away as soon as I posted on Spotify. And I was like, dang, right? And it was my biggest song. And then I was out on vacation with my girlfriend's family. And then I remember it got taken down. I was like, oh, shoot. I was like pretty sad, right? I was like, I knew this would happen though. And I told myself before I posted, I was like, if this gets taken down, then that means like it got big enough that they noticed it, you know? So I was like, so it's kind of win-win whatever happens, you know?
Right.
And so I got taken down. I got like a strike or whatever. Still don't even know how it works. And then people started DMing me again, like where'd Deathbed go, you know?
And is this all this year or is this before this year?
This is like this was before this year. So the first time I uploaded it, I think it was like almost 2 years ago.
Okay, so it's been a minute.
So like I've had this song for a long time, yeah. And so it got taken down, and then that made even more drama. I feel like it blew up the song even more because everybody's like, where'd this song go? You know, everybody was wanting it, and it was only on YouTube and SoundCloud. And then and then that's when I had labels start hitting me up and stuff. And then one of the labels from Sony, they DM'd me saying like, hey, we'll get like the sample cleared for you. And that kind of caught my eye because like that was the only thing I wanted, you know? So
you just like, yo, I just want the song to come out.
Yeah, so I replied, I was like, okay. I was like, what's the plan here? So then I ended up signing with this little label called Robots and Humans. And they cleared the sample for me. And the deal, discussing the deal was a big thing too, because like the song was blowing up so quickly and they offered me like it started with like they offered me like 30K or something, like something pretty low, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
And then yeah, and then like this is when I started getting my parents involved because like it was getting intense here. And they started and then was it Republic? No. Oh shoot, Universal.
Universal Republic, or just the Universal umbrella is big, yeah.
Yeah. They DM'd me and they doubled the amount, and then they kind of went in a bidding war, and then the robots and humans had to get Colombia involved because they weren't big enough, like they didn't have enough money. So then it was like a battle between Colombia and Universal.
Yeah.
And
good for you. That's rad, man. Yeah, 30. I mean, 60 is low for a record that had that much momentum, and that's very wise and shrewd on your part to get your family involved and to, be smart. And so you ended up signing with Columbia ultimately, which Columbia, by the way, I think is doing a great job. They've done some real cool work with Lecrae. Lecrae had a really good situation over there. He kind of shared some of the details with me backstage at a show once, and then obviously Russ had the 50-50 split with Columbia, got in, did 2 albums, 3 albums, got out. And so I think they're very progressive in terms of just where they're seeing the music game going. What made you ultimately choose Columbia?
This was a while ago. I'm trying to remember. I think
Besides the bag.
Yeah. I mean, the Universal actually offered more money in the end, I think, but the benefits with Colombia, I think it was more like, because I didn't want to sign a long-term agreement because like my dad, for example, when he signed, like it was kind of a crappy deal and he got ripped off by a lot of people and stuff, right? So we were like super cautious about it all. And yeah, so we chose Colombia. I think it was just like I had more creative freedom,
Yeah. And so then they clear the sample for you, and I'm assuming in that obviously you guys probably have to work out the publishing split, and the producer had to be tied into the deal and the whole situation, which we don't need to go into those details. But it ended up finally officially coming out. Was it this year in February?
It might have been. I don't even know, bro. I don't remember any dates, but it was. I think it was this year. Yeah, early this year. I think you're right, February.
Now you said somewhere that the song was actually inspired by a very classic movie that I appreciate you being up on this. It was inspired by The Notebook.
Yeah, I mean, when I said that, I'm not sure if it was directly. I just know like The Notebook was like the first romantic movie I watched, right? And like I was kind of hitting the feelings. I was like, whoa.
That's your dude hitting the feelings.
Yeah, and then that's kind of got me into like more romantic movies, and so like the whole romantic movie scene, I guess, kind of just inspired like a lot of my music. So like, yeah.
And how old were you when you wrote that record?
When I wrote Deathbed?
Yeah.
I was 19, I think.
And you're 22 now, right?
I'm 21.
21 now. So it just goes to show that how long a record can be created, be released, be pulled, have to get the sample cleared, get re-released, and it still goes. So shout out to you, because I think what you did that a lot of artists don't consider is you were looking for scarcity. You were looking for something that, I don't know how intentional it was, but that was something that was missing in the marketplace. You said, hey, this lo-fi stuff is fly. No one's rapping over it, right? And you made a very like heavy kind of, like a emotional type of record inspired by these romantic films, which hit so many different things. And I think it's super dope, man, that it all worked out for you the way it did. And now it's over at over 1 billion streams now, right?
It's over 2 billion in total on like everything, but Spotify, it's not at 1 billion yet.
Sheesh, he said over 2 billion. I gotta retitle the title of this video. Over 2 billion streams. That's incredible. And your situation now with Columbia, I'm assuming, like you said, you get a ton of freedom. You kind of do what you want. So this is a question that a lot of people ask, and it comes up, and so forgive me for asking, but I think it's a good conversation. Has there ever been a desire by the major label to control your content, to tell you not to talk about Jesus in your public persona, to censor you in any way?
Yeah, definitely. I feel
Really?
like that. Yeah, that'll happen. Like, no matter who you sign with, though, you know. Yeah, I don't know, just like obviously, if you're Christian, you're gonna have different beliefs than the rest of the world, you know, and like the world is kind of heading like further and further away from God, you know. So I don't really speak out too much about like specific issues, you know,
Yeah.
but like, cause like in my mind, I have spoken out about specific issues, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because like I was either like angry about it at that time or something, you know, so I kind of just spoke about it. But like in my eyes, it's like I could post like facts about something or like my thoughts on this topic, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and like other people read it, and it's like if they disagree with me, like it when they read what I said, it's not like I don't think it's gonna change their heart or their mind on it, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
like what I think will though is Jesus, you know. So like that's why I post like Bible scriptures or like pray for people and stuff, you know. Like I encourage just like getting to know God because that's what I believe will like change people, you know, for the better. And like not posting like sure posting facts about something might like open somebody's eyes about it, you know, but in terms of like going to heaven, like the important issue, you know, which
Yeah.
is like getting to know Jesus, like that's not gonna do too much.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is when you have posted Bible passages, Bible verses, shared your faith, I don't know how long your bio has been Jesus is King in all capitals. Has there ever been like a text message to you or your dad from the label like, hey man, can he tone it down on some of this Jesus stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we had it hasn't been too bad lately. Like they don't mind that like I'm Christian and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like I think they kind of like it, to be honest, because it's like different, I guess. You know, not too many people are Christian in the mainstream area.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I've talked about like my thoughts on like abortion and stuff before. Like I tweeted it out once or something. They asked us to like delete the tweet and stuff. I was like,
Really?
no. Yeah,
Did you delete it?
no.
My man, that's what I'm talking about, bro. That's dope. That's super dope. I love what you said. You said ultimately it's not about spitting facts, but you said it's about telling people about Jesus and you sharing Bible verses because ultimately that's what causes change. And the way I would describe it is, as Christians, I think we should be known by the things we're for and not just known by the things we're against, right? So if we're sharing Jesus, we're sharing God's truth, we're sharing God's word. Those are the things that I think are going to position us to, like you said, ultimately people hear the gospel. Ultimately people hear the good news, right? That it's good news that Jesus came. So dude, props to you, man. That's really cool that you will take a stand as strong as a stand like that, get a text message, get somebody ask you to take it down. You're just like, nah, fam, I'm not taking anything down. Like that's super dope, man.
Thank you, bro.
That's super dope. That really encourages me. How would you say your faith drives your music? Because you don't make like overtly Christian music per se, but I do think you're clearly a Christian in your public persona and in some of your music.
Yeah.
In the content, meaning that it's not celebrating debauchery and murder and sin, right? How does it feel? Like, is there a strategy for how you want to share your faith? Or is it just kind of like, hey, I love Jesus, I read, I pray. You showed your vlog, how you open up every day with prayer. Like I get right down. You got down on your knees, which I thought was cool because not a lot of people pray on their knees. So how does your faith in Jesus drive your art?
I mean, like in the Bible, like it says like work 6 days a week, you know, and rest on the seventh. And so like I feel like music is kind of just my job at this point, you know. So I'm like I feel like I'm like respecting God by trying to work hard at it, you know. So like just making music in general, like the Bible and stuff kind of encourages me to just make music, you know. And like I don't know, I try to incorporate like my belief. Like I don't want to be talking about like girls and like I don't know. I don't want to be disgusting, you know, like how most hip hop is nowadays. And yeah, so I kind of just like, I don't know, like I speak like if I were to make like like I would never make like a song about like flexing and stuff, you know. So like I try to stay like humble, you know, with my lyrics and stuff. And like I haven't made a worship song or like a complete Christian song before, you know. And like I've tried in the past, and like I will make one, I feel like, eventually, you know. But it's like it's not really the easiest for me. Like I kind of just like naturally talk about like romance, I guess. It's like I find it easier to talk about that and just like, yeah, I don't know, just like random stuff in life, I guess. Like it's way easier for me to write about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, one like I'll definitely have a worship song one day, or like a Christian rap song, you know. But I don't know. I try to like I don't have a song completely dedicated to it, but I'll incorporate things. Like I'll talk about praying or
Yeah.
heaven and stuff like that.
Yeah, and dude, I think that's dope. I think it'd be super fly if you did write a Christian rap song or a worship song, but I do believe that I think God has you right where you're supposed to be. I think you're influencing a generation of kids, right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Do you think? So your title on Instagram says Jesus is King. Has Kanye being more outspoken about his faith, right, or the explosion of Christian content on TikTok, right? Your song really popped off on TikTok. Has that encouraged you and empowered you to be more outspoken about your faith? Like someone like as iconic as Kanye being like, "Yo, Jesus King, it's all about Jesus." What, you know? Like has that empowered you as a creative who's in the, you know, the music industry to be more outspoken?
I don't think it has, to be honest. Like I love seeing it though, like how Kanye changed and stuff and started church and stuff. Like I love watching all that. Like it's super cool to see, but I don't really think it changed what I was doing necessarily. I think it's just like my personal faith was growing, you know, and like yeah. But it is cool seeing what Kanye has done, yeah.
Yeah, I really do feel like there's something God is doing on a major scale where you have Kanye, you have Justin Bieber, you have even Chance, which sometimes Chance does some questionable things that I've, you know, reached out to him about. Like, hey man, you know, I don't booty applaud, music for God. I don't know if that's necessary, you know. But I think that mixed with the explosion of how many Christian influencers are on TikTok, the explosion of YouTube stuff, Christian influencers, conversations like this, what you're doing, I feel like I turn and I look into different pockets of the industry, of entertainment, of media, and there seems to be, and this is going to sound like a weird word, so just forgive me for using it in advance, but there seems to be like some type of creative revival happening where people are open about their faith. And there's always been Christians in the music industry, but to the point where you lead with on your Instagram, Jesus is King, right? Like that's pretty powerful, man. Like that's really cool. And I don't think it's an accident. Like I don't think what God's showing you and where God's positioned you is in a vacuum. I think it's kind of all happening on a massive scale. And I think this next generation of kids that's going to come up is going to have a very different perception of Christianity than I did. Like my perception of Christianity 20 years ago was, oh, they're just over there. They're over there, right? They're at church camp and that's it. But now I could open up TikTok, I could open up Instagram, and my favorite artist from one of my favorite songs is a Christian, and that's that's rad.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a big blessing. Like how you're saying, like the position I'm in, you feel like is right where I should be. It's like I agree with that. And like how, like, considering that I don't make like Christian music, you know, it's like it's kind of cool because I'm put into a different category with different people who aren't believers, you know, like I have so many sad kids listening to me, you know, and it's like it's cool because I can give them like hope and faith, you know, and like I'll DM a lot of fans as well, like trying to like pray for them and stuff. And yeah, it's really cool where I'm at.
Man, you got a heart of gold, bro. He said praying for fans over DM. How freaking dope is that? Do you how instrumental was TikTok, do you think, in the explosion of Deathbed? Was that intentional on your guys' part, or was that like 100? Because it seems like a lot of this stuff was just, and I don't like using this word, but it was organic. Like it seems like you were literally just making music. You had a good ear. you had good taste, you knew this was
Yeah.
missing, and it just kind of started snowballing for you. But was TikTok like organic in your strategy? Because there's rappers and dope artists that are blowing up on TikTok right now. But was that like intentional in your strategy in terms of getting that record out there?
Yeah, no, I was I didn't even know what TikTok was. Like I saw it blowing up on YouTube,
It's so
and
cool.
then yeah, then I just looked on TikTok. I don't even know how it got on TikTok, and then it blew up on there though, and I was like, what the heck? So it was completely random. Like I think it was a big blessing from God. Kind of just carried it.
That's what's up. So what is your vision for your music? 10 years from now, you're still making music. I think you're probably even more refined than ever. I could see you dabbling in and producing some of your own music, or if you don't already, like going back into your producer bag. What is your vision for where you're at 10 years from now, 5 years? I know those are probably big windows to think about when you're 21, but what is your ultimate like vision for what you're doing?
I mean, I don't got one. I just live life, you know, like the Bible says don't focus on tomorrow, you know, just focus on today, right? And yeah, I don't know. Like it would be cool if I was making music 10 years from now and had like a big catalog of songs, you know. That would be amazing, but if the whole music career dies, that's fine too, you know. I'm kind of ready for whatever doors close and open.
That's rad. That's cool, man. Yeah, that's dope. Like you're flexible to it. In terms of, you talked about you guys finally being able to buy a home. You went from renting to owning, and just your life changing as a byproduct of this stuff taking off. Talk about that feeling of like just God blessing it and financially increasing, and just the abundance of it all, and what's that been like for you? Because you seem very well grounded, and you seem just super like normal, you know, which is rare for someone in a position where they're sitting with 2 billion streams, hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
of followers, millions of subscribers.
Yeah, I feel like a big part of that is how my dad was in a band growing up, right? Like he kind of like, I feel like I kind of experienced fame and all the, like, cause we were like, my dad made a lot of money at one point too. Like we were living pretty good, right? And so like, kind of just like experiencing all that and like meeting famous people growing up, and like, it's kind of like I was exposed to it at an early age, like, and like I always thought when I was younger, I always thought that I would have like my time of blowing up as well. I kind of just thought it, right? And so like when Deathbed finally blew up, it was like I kind of felt like I was prepared for it, you know? And like I feel like a lot of kids my age that are blowing up, it's like comes out of nowhere, right? And it's like, whoa, what is this whole new life, right? But it's like I feel like I was a lot more ready than most people were. So it's like I feel like that helped with me staying grounded a lot. And then also just like prayer, I guess I have a lot of people praying for me and stuff, which is amazing as well.
Are there any Christian artists that you hope to work with in the foreseeable future? Any folks you hope to collaborate with?
I mean, Kanye would be that would be really cool.
That'd be amazing. You and Kanye on a record would be fire.
Yeah, I have no idea what it sound like, but that would be really cool. Like Kanye's he's definitely up there.
Anybody else you could think of?
No, I don't really know, to be honest. Like a lot, like I listen to a lot of like underground artists. Like I know that's what everybody says, but like all the like artists that I want to work with, like I'm able to work with right now, you know, and like I'm bigger than almost all of them right now, which is kind of funny, but yeah.
I think this is gonna sound weird, okay, but I think you and Justin Bieber doing a record together would be crazy. You guys both from Canada, both, you know, younger, getting started. I mean, he was really young when getting started, but I think you two on a record together would be fire. Like I think obviously super mainstream.
Yeah.
A couple Christian artists I think that should be on your radar. There's an artist named Paul Russell, who went to Cornell University. He's kind of popping off on TikTok right now. Nick D is also exploding on TikTok. He's from Virginia. He's cinematographer, videographer that pivoted in doing a song every other week in 2019, and his Instagram's exploding, his TikTok's exploding. Super dope artist. Montel Fish worship artist, rap artist, lo-fi production. Like this is, there's a lot of really cool stuff out there, man. That's like, I think
I'll write their names down.
yeah, I'll send you a DM. I'll send you their like Instagrams and stuff like that.
Okay.
There's just like a lot of cool stuff happening of guys that are independent, rising up in terms of being active, being tasteful, being creative, like good aesthetic, right? And your aesthetic is interesting because your visuals are so cool, but your Instagram is so like down to earth. Like I love looking at your grid because it's just like you're just like a kid, you're just chilling, you know? It's super dope. And so yeah, I think I really do think like there's something happening in just the way God is positioning stuff, and it's just super dope, man. I just honestly like checked you out and was like, before I knew that you had the Deathbed song, before I knew any of that, like I was just looking at your stuff like, bro, this is so cool. Like this is so dope, and I feel like God's gonna continue using you, man, in some really, really cool ways. And I do want to encourage you with this, like. You know this already, but don't feel like you have to perform and you have to fit into the mold of some type of like Christian influencer, right? Like I think what you're doing, bro, and just my heart for you is like, bro, I just want to see you keep being a great Christian. You know what I mean? And that may even sound like an oxymoron because being a Christian is acknowledging that you need dependency on Jesus, but meaning just keep acknowledging that you need Jesus. And you know, you got a great family around you. Like you said, you've been prepared for where you're at. I think you're gonna be fine, man. I think you're gonna be fine. I think God's gonna keep using it, bro, which is like really dope.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, man. So I'll send you some links. New EP is out. I forgot what it was called. But it's. I listened to the single, which was called. What was the single that I checked out?
Fire in Your Eyes?
Was it? No, it was the hospital one. It was something about the hospital.
Okay, when the hospital was my home.
That made me tear up, bro.
Yeah.
That joint made me tear up. I was like, can you just tell people about that record real quick? And I think that's something they should definitely go check out. When the hospital was my home.
Yeah, it's a heavy one. I'm trying to remember what started it. I think I was just kind of just freestyling. And then I was like, it'd be cool to like just like, what would I say if I was like locked in a hospital, you know? And I kind of just, that was a quick song as well. Like I wrote it pretty quickly because it's just like such a cool idea or whatever, you know? Like when I write music, I like to like put myself in that position, you know? And like, I kind of treat it like a movie, you know? Like I try to envision like the scenes and everything with it, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, whenever I have like a visual idea, it's pretty easy for me to write, you know? And so kind of just put myself in their shoes and I wrote like out everything that I was feeling and that. And then I got my friend to jump on it and put the last verse on, which I thought sounded pretty cool as well.
Yeah, man, that video made me tear up. I was like, yo, this joint is crazy. And it's very timely. Like it's very timely for where we are as a world, where we are as a society. So the EP is out, which I'm excited to sit with more of it. Are we gonna get more vlogs? Because I thought your vlog was so cool. Like it was just you chilling and walking through your day. Is that what your normal days are like? Are you just kind of hanging out, doing a little bit of exercising? I saw you with the weights, and then just working on music. You work on music every single day?
Yeah, I try to. If I don't work on music in a day, it's usually because I'm visiting friends or hanging out with people, which I feel like is also a good thing to do. You know, if you're a Christian, it's like you should be out in the, like I know a lot of Christians that kind of just sit at home, you know, but it's like I feel like we should be out talking to people and spreading love.
Amen. Are most of your friends in your personal life Christian?
I'd say 50-50.
50-50, okay. And that is, you said this a couple times earlier. You said this is your job. Does your dad kind of now have like is there deliverables? You know, like are you expected to finish a certain amount of songs a month, and are you just kind of creating, and then you guys sit together as a team and say, okay, well these are the ones we could send over to Columbia. These are the ones maybe we just kind of tease out on IG and see how like what is that process like now that you have the infrastructure behind you?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just try and write as many songs as I can, and then like they'll give me their input on like what songs is their favorite and stuff. But it's kind of like a lot of people in the label and like my dad and stuff, like they're all kind of older, you know, like a lot of people that listen to my music. So like I'll ignore them sometimes.
The old head,
like,
you don't need that old head energy.
Yeah, I kind of I disagree with them a lot, you know, which is kind of frustrating sometimes. But yeah, we'll discuss things together and then like have a plan on like what single we want to release next and stuff. But I usually get like the final say in it all, which is nice.
Man, good for you, bro. That's some, those are, you're building it out the right way, man. You're building it out the right way, and ultimately you being in control and God ultimately being in control, I think is super dope, man. Do you have any other things you just want to, you know, folks that are checking this out, maybe folks that haven't watched too many interviews of yours, fans of yours, do you have any final words for people that you just want to leave them with to encourage all the kids that are checking for you?
I mean, I don't know, whoever sees this, like, Jesus loves you, you know, don't forget that. And yeah, don't be afraid. Like, if you're a believer, you know, don't be afraid to like tell your friends about it and stuff. Like, I know in high school I was super scared, and like that's something I regret, you know. And it wasn't until like after high school where I was like, man, why was I like that, you know? But like, yeah, like just don't be afraid to be persecuted for your faith, you know. Like, God will reward you and all that. And if you make music, don't be, I know a lot of my friends who like believe in God or whatever, then they'll make songs that like way opposite of it, you know. But it's like, you got to let them take control of your whole life, you know, not just certain parts of it.
Come on, man. You got to let them take control of your whole life, not just certain parts of it. That's a beautiful part to leave us with. I always say a lot of people want Jesus as their savior, but not as their Lord. And I think when you let Jesus take control, surrender everything to his way of doing things, that you you're ultimately in the right spot. You know, God's will for our life, God's perfect will for our life is in God's ways of living, man. So, dude, thank you so much, man. I don't want to take too much of your time. This was super cool. Maybe we'll have you back on some other time.
Definitely.
Guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a quick thumbs up. Make sure you guys check out Pafu's YouTube page. Like, don't let that one song just kind of set the. This dude is consistent. Like, all the records are fire. Like, I'm not just saying that. Like, I was sitting there like, wow, you know, it's just aesthetically, the production, the intentionality, the attention to detail. There's a lot that, whether you're a rapper or whether you are just hoping to get into the creative space, there's a lot that we can learn. So make sure you guys check him out, man. Give him a follow on Instagram, subscribe to his YouTube, and be praying for this dude, man. God has him uniquely positioned, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Yes. I saw my mama smile through the silhouette. Sunshine and all, sunshine and all. But she don't know that I still feel like we ain't made it yet. No, I ain't lying at all. I ain't lying at all. I remember walking back from grocery stores and she would carry me sore. Muscles didn't mean a thing, we just had to see this thing through. And now she got bad hips and needs to replaced. I wonder if I walk, could this pain have been erased? Was that a cause of her failing health? She fell down, it's only right I help. Uplift despite the complicated things I felt. From cash aid to building generational wealth. Look, from her just hoping she can land a job to owning businesses, not feeling yeah, I need some real estate next. I've been the realest, not best. Is there a difference? I guess, nah. Yeah, they told me God bless. I told them I wanna bless God. Yes, I told him I wanna bless God. What's that mean? What's that mean? What's that mean, huh? What's that mean? What's that mean? What's that mean, huh? What's that mean? What's that mean? What's that mean, huh? I told him I wanna bless God. It means the kid that was least likely to succeed smashed through the middle class without finishing his degree. I still walk though, in my cap and gown at the graduation ceremony. Got my picture with the dean. You can say that I finessed it well. Some thought that I would be quick to fail, but what they missed is when you put God in the mix. So rather, first success is more than just throwing coins in and wishing well. Still I wish him well, I tell him God bless. I really just wanna bless God, cause despite my own folly, he still brought me to the light. So if I'm living his way, I know that I'ma be alright, yeah. They told me God bless. I told them I wanna bless God. Yes, I told him I wanna bless God. What's that mean? What's that mean? What's that mean, huh? What's that mean? What's that mean? What's that